All right, we're back. Thanks for staying with us. Call numbers 1-347-326-9626. You listen to Planet Green Trees. I'm your host, Michael Camorn. In the studio with me as we close with the last 15 minutes is Chad, Permanent Compassion, Jamie, Christine, Michael, and, of course, Rick Thompson. Let's try to analyze some of the stuff that we took away from this, do a little debriefing if we can.
Some encouraging news there. She definitely didn't feel like the Republicans had a three-quarter majority for the House vote.
We have a solid slate for the Supreme Court now.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know.
Some people to start throwing our support behind. She also encouraged people to do what we've been encouraging people to do here for weeks, which is contact your representatives directly, let them know exactly what you feel, and that there is more of a renewed reason for this now, too, since we know that they need 18 of the Democrats to flip over to the Republican side. And as Jamie Lowell's pointed out previously, there may be a couple of Republicans that come to our side as well, so they may need even more than 18 Democrats to overcome that. We can still really have a concerted effort to contact people via personal appearances, letters, telephone calls to the office, and Facebook on people's Facebook sites. The representatives involved.
Even if you can get people to distribute just a form letter, if you can get people in large numbers to distribute that letter in a rapid manner, it indicates something that's very different even than personal letters coming in. But it's something that's important, and it's something that they pay attention to.
If someone wanted to do some contributions, they could certainly contribute to postage. We could have booths or tables set up around the different places that we go to across the state where people could actually fill out and sign the letter right there. We'd fold it up in an envelope, slap a stamp on it, and then put it right in the mail that particular day, postmarked from the city in which we were appearing. That way it would be an immediate effect. But, of course, postage can get to be expensive if you're doing 50 to 100 of these. So,
if you're an organizer, though, definitely having that Operation 26% letter on hand for people to mail is an important thing.
You heard that Representative Kogan-Lipton said it's effective. 1 letter, 50 letters, 200 letters, they know that they're being watched. That was important because they recognize it. A lot of these bills come up, no one talks to them, they don't care, they can do whatever they want. Only maybe sometime later in their career will they be called on it, right? But
this is going to have an immediate effect on the population that uses it, and it's going to get media exposure. And I think at this point, we'll be tapped in enough to be able to actually be there and observe the vote, and that, I think, is going to increase the pressure on these people to vote no against the bills.
And just for a minute, I just want to interject, like if as I was speaking earlier in the beginning of the show, of having a network of compassion clubs or groups throughout the state that were alert on these issues and at any given time could just, go into March effect of being able to, call and bombard with letters and emails, and that's the type of effect, as you can see, that gets things done. The squeaky wheel always gets the grease, and I will tell you that you heard the words of John Sinclair at Hashbash, maybe many of you. You got to get out and vote. Or the bad people are going to win. There's only 25% of them, but they vote every time. And the fact is that there's got to be. I don't know if those stats are.
If you just object to the system, then you lose.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember, we have another wave of House of Representatives action coming up after these 4 bills are taken up. That would be a local option bill that's going to be coming up for consideration. There's possibly other tweaks to the Medical Marijuana Act that would be considered also. And having a network of compassion centers around would absolutely be helpful when it comes time to organize either informational campaigns or resistance to those particular efforts.
Or support for some of those efforts.
Absolutely. I meant, I didn't want it to be only negative. But yes, thank you for the add-on. That was very appropriate.
Well, the point is that the community is, obviously, you got a lot of very similar interests, primarily the influence on its government, and I think ultimately, at the end of the day, having the impact on how the legislature is going to vote, and knowing that they're going to have to answer to this community. It's not a community, as you heard the representative say, that's fighting for just the Medical Marijuana Act. It's for more than that. It's the principles of democracy. It's the principles of the implementation of a voters' initiative and the duties of the government to ensure that takes place. this is the message, I think, and that's the points that we're trying to get across. I think through the letter writing and
direct contact is a very, very good method. Just calling their offices, even talking to their staff members, asking for calls back, and just letting them know that it's an extremely important issue.
As long as it's done respectfully, and remember that that these people are very busy and they have a limited amount of time.
We may have our guest,
Representative Durhal.
Fantastic.
Thank you for calling in.
Maybe not. Hello?
Representative Durhal?
Oh.
Seems that we're having some technical issues.
Representative Durhal's been involved in the legislative issue for a long time. He supported the work group that was mentioned previously. He's been involved in this particular debate on the side in favor of patients' rights for quite some time, and he's a champion. It would be wonderful to be able to speak to him on this program.
I remember he was very interested in trying to assist the community, and he was when it was more of a task force. It was much more equally balanced, and I felt like there was
a lot more open dialogue and trying to move towards solutions for patients and caregivers, not implementing the strategy of trying to dismember the act that Bill Schuette has been using through his Republican control of the legislature.
Do you know what was really dismantled? This is what it was. I remember, as Representative Kogan mentioned, I was only there for a couple meetings, but it maybe been, I don't know how many there were, maybe 4, 5, 6 or whatever it was. I was the tail end of them before they ended, upon the changing of the, are you there, caller?
Representative Durhal, is that you?
It's Tim Beck, actually, but
whatever.
Yeah. I know I have a 313 number, but
our
can
screener
you guys hear me, or?
We're guessing now because
the 313.
Oh, I tell you, this is such a wonderful show. I mean, you guys just handle this so well. I mean, your the tone of your voice, the questioning, the way that you allow the speaker to talk rather than, I don't know how to put it pretty, but just, propagandize. It's really good. I mean, it's just such a service to this community. I just want to commend you. It's just absolutely wonderful. I've been listening in with Representative Cotton, and again, I kind of, by accident or design, I feel it kind of, we need to, I feel like I play a devil's advocate, sort of role. And let me put it this way. I'm not talking devil's advocate now. What this woman said is very positive in the sense that it is highly unlikely that these bills in the near future are going to get that 3/4 majority. That's just a kind of gut feeling, and that woman confirmed that. The thing of it is, though, she did point out examples where this majority, almost the super majority to some degree of Republicans have been able to just ram practically anything that they want, through the legislature, and so far they've gotten away with it, and it's a very dangerous thing. It's very uncomfortable, and I have a great deal of respect for Representative Walsh, and the Republicans. I mean, they've tried in their own way, to do the best they can. Again, the Durhal process, it was a little more comfortable, but hey, I guess it's a cruel world. I think the thing maybe the community needs to be careful of here is, again, this has to be monitored at all times. I mean, they may very well not even have a vote, in a week or so, and usually they only have votes when they know they're going to win. Okay, so if they put this off, then that indicates they don't have the majority that they need. But be careful. This lame duck session is coming up. A lot of deals can be cut. And I remember, like in Montana, where the law was gutted, and, a Democrat, in the end, signed off on gutting the law, out there. And it was the governor. And what they did, they horse traded. The Republicans horse traded with the Democrats. In Montana, they gave him some a few pieces of pie, and on and on. All of a sudden, the governor just agreed to some watered down thing, and if he vetoed it, things would have been the same in Montana. But he didn't. He cut a deal, You know, I'm just, like I say, that's what I'm, slightly concerned about. And but I think, we've got the strength here to, to get it right. I mean, that's just my, thoughts, just thinking,
And Representative Lipton did say that we do need to have a strategy for the lame duck. We definitely
Well, you can't
do.
just say no. And the thing is, she also said you just can't say no. You have to have a plan. You got to know what you want. That's the thing. We have to figure out, I think, as a community. I'm just saying that, and I think we have, but maybe some more refinement could be done, and I don't know what that is exactly. We need, people we need to talk about and work more, closely and so forth in that regard, but I think definitely it can be done. I'm just thinking out loud anyway.
No, that's right, because you're right. That's the thing that we can take away from moving forward, assuming that what she said is actually flows, there's going to be a time where there's got to be an explanation, that you have something in place that's functional, that, say, oh, it's been going on. And, like someone used the example today that I was talking to about the movie rating industry. Like the movie industry had the rating of movies amongst themselves that they were regulating, and then when, it was something they did themselves that they were capable of doing, that they managed within their own culture. And then when it became legislative, they adopted that method, But just as a way to kind of compete with, the methodology of how the legislature looks, if they see that something's working to some capacity, and it's but just an interesting way of looking at a solution there.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for everything. You got a really great show. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Mr. Beck.
Thanks for calling in, Terry.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man. All right.
So, I was thinking we've got about 6 minutes left, but I just want to what I wanted to say about the Durhal experience, as I was just there the last couple sessions maybe, but there was no question that no matter who was there, and it was a very widely, a lot of different groups. There was even people from Lara that were there, and
a lot of law enforcement,
MSP,
municipalities.
But we all agreed that conversation should have been going on since April, or
the beginning.
The beginning, okay. And after we all recognized that, and it come up, it stopped. It was completely shut off. So the consensus of continuing the dialogue.
Bill Schuette took over the legislative process at that point, and you can't go directly against that. And I think that we're going to have to use our strengths. We're going to have to use our grassroots, and we're going to have to really directly contact our representatives and as many of the Democrats as we can, and make sure that they understand that we are very unified across the entire community in opposition to these bills. We have crafted a letter at this point that many of the organizations are ready to sign on to, that is in opposition to all four of the bills, and we want to deliver it directly to the offices on Monday. So I think that it is a pretty unified response to what's going on here. It is there's nothing good in these bills for patients.
That's it.